Purdy here with you until 4 o'clock today. Enjoy!
UCC 98.3 FM is a small station battling commercial ones. It gives radio hopefuls a chance to cut their teeth in the radio world and begin their careers.
The thing about radio is it's not rocket science. You don't have to have a degree or a master's to qualify to be a good radio DJ. It's down to personality and developing a fairly intermediate basic skill set. And that happens by just doing it and doing it on a regular basis. Like the jobs that are available at the moment would be weekend swing work for sports desks. I get a lot of people coming to me that way. Program directors and heads of news don't tend to advertise small little bits of work, because they'll get inundated and then they have to go and write to everyone back, and it's a day's work, maybe a week's work to go through CVs. And so they kind of put the feelers out and know people like myself and in Cork, Limerick and Galway, talking about this region, Munster, who would actually have, bright young things on the up,
Megan Pardy is one of those bright young things in 98.3 FM, having begun her radio career only recently.
I always had a huge interest in music. I suppose radio, one of the main things it does is play music. So I thought I'd go upstairs and ask Kieran about it and get involved. And when I went up, he was going through all the different shows and what the different themes were. And I realised that it was going to be a way bigger undertaking than just playing music. But that really interested me more because I've always been interested in journalism as well. So things like news and all the rest of it are also an aspect of it. So that really caught my interest. In terms of technology and stuff, I've gained huge range of skills. Because when you think about it, when you're listening to something, you don't really realise how it's edited until you actually go do it yourself. So when I was sent in to do vox pops, and when I came back, I thought going around and pausing and starting and pausing and stopping, it was going to have it all edited for me. When I played it back, it wasn't the way I thought it was going to be. So I had to go to Elaine and get her to help me download a program that I could kind of cut and copy and paste different bits. So that was really cool. As well as in the station itself, I suppose learning how to handle the boards and all the different kind of equipment in there. When we have groups in to do different kind of sessions on the radio station, it's really cool to kind of figure out how to do the sound on the radio so that when people are listening to the radio, it doesn't all of a sudden start yelling at you. So it's really cool to learn about the technology of it.
And practice really does make perfect, according to the station manager.
If you come here and you do a music show for 1 hour a week and you play your 10 tracks back to back and you say something about each one, you're not going to develop. But here you get a chance to work as part of a team, to organise phone links, get to use a touch screen, get to use the array, learn how to write a running order, interviews skills. It's all down to practice. We all know how to speak to people, but to interview someone is a small little twist of what you would normally do, And it's just, again, I keep saying the same word, the more you do it, the better you get at it. Like the old saying, fake it till you make it.
Many DJs began their careers in 98.3 FM, and it is the perfect place to learn the ropes for a budding broadcaster.
It's really good, I think, because now is when you kind of get to make the mistakes, because, we're not as well known, so it's not a huge disaster if something goes wrong, but it's really interesting to learn how to kind of get all this different experience. So, you learn really quickly, personal skills, communicating with someone, because when you bring someone on air, you don't know how they're going to react. So you need to be the person to kind of manage the conversation and handle them the way you think best, to drag out responses from them, because you can't just have an empty pause on air. So in that kind of respect, it's really good to have that experience, but also because it just, it shows how people get their news. When you start in the radio station, you're oh yeah, I'll just do a piece on this and a piece on that. But then you have to find people to talk about it, and you need to hit the spot.
The commercial stations paying big money for talent, are they missing a trick by not looking on their doorstep? Should they link up with the student station?
Yes. Maybe in terms of kind of little internships maybe. That would be really helpful, because obviously we're kind of student run, so we're learning from one another as we go along. Whereas in something like Red FM and 96 FM, commercial radio stations, they kind of already have their setup and they know what's being done, and they're bigger and they have more experience. So if we were to kind of go to them for internships, we'd get a real insight into something that's already up and running and has been tried and tested before. So instead of floundering around by ourselves and seeing what works and what doesn't, we kind of have more hands-on experience with them, which would be interesting.
In reality, things are much more grim.
The links have got worse. There used to be quite a good identifiable link between 96 and Red, not so much ourselves, but the teaching colleges here. And what happened was that as things got tighter after 2006 and 2007 and 2008, and the recession kind of started to creep in, They had to lose staff, and then there was less people doing more work, and no one had the time to take on interns. Like, 96 FM had an internship program a couple of years ago. They had to cancel it. Red FM don't take on, as part of the course, work experience people. Doesn't matter if they're in third level or TY, they just have this blanket policy of no work experience. It does interrupt their day because it's such a tight, small team. Bringing somebody in, human nature. Someone sitting in the corner on their phone, you can say, "Yeah, all right, do you want to look what I'm doing?" It slows it down. So those links, they were there, they've dissolved. To reinstate them, I don't think there's much demand for, on their side, on commercial radio, looking for like a recognised 3-month, 6-month internship program, like they have. Let's say motor mechanics would have an internship program. There's no need for it, no perceived need for it in any commercial stations that I work with or deal with.
While the links may not be up to scratch, UCC 98.3 FM has produced and will continue to produce the broadcasters whose voices are heard every day.